This was a super Sunday of stinkers. After the incredible debuts and great golazos we saw on Friday and Saturday, we saw one goal in the two games that I want to speak about today. However, despite there being only one goal, there were many talking points. We're going to be discussing Chelsea v Palace, the earlier game, and then of course the big game at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Arsenal. We're going to discuss who played well, who had stinkers, and go through event by event because there were some contentious things that happened that we may disagree on, we may agree on, I don't know. The only thing I do know is that we are still on the road to that 100k plaque, so keep subscribing, huh? Let's get the comments popping, get that algorithm booming, because we're trying to come up this season, and if you man get me to a nice little number, I might start doing watch-alongs. I can't lie, I've been seeing guys doing their thing. I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind a watch-along, but it's a good thing I didn't start with the Chelsea game, because blimey, that first 20 minutes, the Chelsea fans, they would have all unsubscribed, because what I was seeing, I couldn't believe. Chelsea fans, they keep telling us, you don't watch our team, you don't watch our team. To anyone that says anything negative whatsoever, it's automatically, you don't watch Chelsea. Well, the world had their eyes on Chelsea today. Florentino Perez, he was there watching, and he got on the phone immediately at halftime. You know what he said? Bring me Adam Wharton. Guys, wherever you're watching this from, I don't care if you're in bed, if you're sitting on the toilet, can everyone please be upstanding for Adam Wharton? What a performance. That's not to discredit the mate William Hughes as well, who, by the way, patted Enzo Fernandez on his head. That's going to be the first player we speak about, because I did say that I will be selling my stocks in Enzo this season. Not I had any, but I was encouraging you guys that, listen, scoring some back post headers and then inflating your stats against, you know, Pauk and Noah's Ark and these guys in Conference League doesn't mean you're suddenly a fantastic midfielder. And according to Chelsea fans, this is you man's logic, not my logic. When Chelsea beat PSG in the Club World Cup final, that automatically meant that Caicedo and Enzo and Palmer were all better than Vitinha, João Neves and everyone in their midfield, Fabian Ruiz, etc. So, by that reckoning, I suppose Adam Wharton, Will Hughes and Eze are better, no? That's you man's logic, that's not my logic. But again, I'm not here to do the whole trolling and the rage bait thing. I'm just giving you my thoughts. Enzo, every single pass just seemed to be overhit, or he was taking too long to release the ball in the first place. Meanwhile, Adam Wharton, this guy, like, what you need to understand is like his pass appreciation, or just the understanding of who his teammates are. He plays a certain type of weight of pass for Mateta, a certain type of pass for Eze to get it onto their perfect foot to just spring on the counters or dive into the box. But in the end, it was a mistake from the best left back in the world, Marc Cucurella, to give Crystal Palace a free kick on the edge of the box. Look, for some reason, Robert Sanchez was standing directly in the middle of his goal like it was a penalty. Eze blasted it in the middle like it was a penalty, and somehow it went through Sanchez's hands. And again, this is why this guy, he confuses me so much, because he will give you games, right, like we saw in the Club World Cup. We've seen it during the league as well. When I make my Team of the Week videos, which by the way will be back from tomorrow. Actually, should I make them long form videos, or I just keep it on TikTok or to the little 90-second shorts? I guess let me know in the comments if you want long form Team of the Week videos. But again, that's beside the point. Robert Sanchez, he has games where you're thinking, raw, okay, he's a competent keeper, and then it's like he has brain freeze again. It's like, you know, when you literally you get ice cream, yeah, you get the whole cone and whatever, you get the whole flake as well. It's like he just dashes it all in his mouth in one go, and then his brain just starts doing this. Why is he doing that? Luckily for him though, it was disallowed. Now, I would love to be able to explain to you why it was disallowed, because the rules seem to be changing on the spot. Initially they were saying, oh, it was ruled out for offside. They said no, it wasn't because of that, it was because Mark Gay, he was pushing. Then everyone said, hold on a minute, he hasn't even used his arms, it's a slight nudge. Caicedo, who is a player that I like a lot, has to be much stronger there. You can't just be getting muscled like that. Then they said, no. What I actually meant is that the player must be at least 1 meter away from the wall. Guys, has anyone ever heard that before? Is it just me, or that rule got invented today? They started putting screenshots here saying, actually, if you look at Law 13, I'm sorry guys, I've never seen this applied in football. And need I remind you, I've been watching football since the Garden of Eden, back in the day, and not even the snake and them man were applying this rule where they say you must be 1 meter away. But again, if that's the rule, it is what it is. You know, right, it's allowed. I just hope that from now on, it will also be applied and not just pick and choose when they want to. So again, Eze unlucky. You could tell he wanted his moment to, you know, say goodbye to Crystal Palace. He obviously gave it the celebration and whatnot. I could really tell when he started hitting these 50-yard shots as well, trying to beat Robert Sanchez. Again, it's Sanchez, so you know what? Why not give it a go? But those were not working. Back over to Chelsea, and I want to speak about their forwards, because João Pedro is a player that I've rated really highly, and I want to be clear that on this channel, on the YouTube, although I can be a bit of a troll, I want to have serious convos with you guys, not just someone spamming this guy hates this team or this guy hates that, this guy hates that. So let's also be fair. It is their first game of the season, league season if you will. Obviously they've played friendly, João Pedro's played in Club World Cup, but it's fair to say it wasn't the best Premier League debut from João Pedro, especially considering how many millions of people had him in their FPL. If you did, like myself, to be honest, put a little thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you had João Pedro in your FPL, because it weren't banging. And another player that I'm sure many of you had was Cole Palmer. We have to have the conversation because, guys, it is another game without a goal from open play. The last time he scored from open play in the Barclays Premier League was in January. And I understand, before they start shouting, the team's not built for that. It's built to facilitate others, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But, guys, he was spamming shots at times. Or, I don't know if he hates Gittins, because every time Gittins made a nice run, he would just boot the ball at the advertising boards instead of just passing it into him, into his feet. And so there I'm thinking, okay, I understand that it's not just meant to be Palmer, goal, goal, goal every single time. But there are also games, can we admit, Chelsea fans, where you don't score and you're also bad. Because I agree, you can have games without scoring or assisting and it's still, because it's not on the Excel spreadsheet, people will say he's bad. But today, he was really bad, guys. He was either anonymous for large spells of the game, or when he was involved, losing the ball, weak on the ball. As I said, Gittins, unfortunate because nobody was giving him the ball. It was going to Pedro Neto, who would make mistakes, and he does one of my pet peeves. And this is not just because it's Chelsea or United or Arsenal or whatever team it was. I can give you a player from every team who does it. Like Arsenal, Odegaard does this. I'm not going to list every single name, but specifically today, Pedro Neto did something that I really despise. When someone's having a bad game, yeah, he tried to do a little cross or whatever. He completely messed up. It could have been a clear goal had he released the ball earlier. He messed up. And what does he do? Come on! Come on! Why do players gas up the fans when you're having a stinker? Don't do that. Gas me up by performing well. That's one of my football icks. I really don't like it. If you're playing well, yeah, you've hit a shot, it bounced off the bar, it cannons over. You can be like, yeah, come on, guys. But when you have lost the ball, you're making mistakes, and then you're G'ing up the crowd. Sorry, man, unacceptable. Realistically, the only player that can have any sort of proper credit for me from Chelsea is Acheampong. He was fantastic. He was not afraid to get into the duels with, you know, big brothers like Mateta, by the way, or he would chase Sarr, or even the midfielders, and Munoz when he'd bomb forward. You'd see Acheampong covering everywhere. So I was really impressed with his performance. He probably will get a lot more game time now with Cole will be in out, and just in general, you know, Fofana's never really fully fit. Everyone there, they have their spells where they're injured for a couple months. So he was a bright spark for them. But as I said, if I speak on guys like Enzo and whatnot, they're going to lock me up. They're going to unsubscribe because they're angry at me for just saying exactly what I saw. This is the team who had no shot on target from minute 3 up until... When did the lap come on and shoot? It must have been like minute 86 or 87 or something like that. In between, you know, we saw Esteval come on. That's my young son. I was proud of him making his debut. He had some nice runs, but his end product was lacking. Again, let's be fair. He's a kid, but, you know, there were a couple times where maybe he could have left us for someone else. He's ballooned it over the bar. And again, the others joined him. Andre Santos came on, ballooned over the bar again. Everyone just ballooning it. So we didn't really learn anything in that regard. But big shout out to all the Palace players. Once again, Lacroix at the back there, phenomenal. Eze, obviously, was trying a bit too hard to have that final moment, but he was fantastic as ever. He was cooking Reece James at times. Got him on the yellow card, and, you know, he was fighting for his life for the rest of the game. But look, it's a draw. Chelsea fans, let me know what you thought of the game. If you are still watching, I hope you are, and you can understand that it's about having conversations, because, you know, when people say that you're not in the bracket of, let's say, Liverpool, Arsenal and City, then you get angry. But then when we say you're in a title race because you're as good as them, that's according to you guys, you're the world champions as well, then you also get angry. So I'd like to know, like, what do you think of your team? What are you expecting? And let's head over to Old Trafford, the second game that we're going to be covering, you know, in depth today. Because look, big up Forest. Like I said, Chris Wood on TikTok, you know, my bad, OG. I said he ain't bagging 20 goals this year because last year was running like Benzema and it was too much. He's already back to Daniel and Ndoye back on his debut as well. So a fair play to them. They packed in Brentford. Worrying times for them. Like I said, I got them to be relegated. They lost 3-1. But you man are here to discuss United v Arsenal. Understandable. And let's also speak facts as always. We're not here to just troll and do whatever. United started like a house on fire. Like an Old Trafford that is leaking. They were moving nuts. And I was speaking of Konate on the opening day. What he was doing. Whatever virus he had, I know that he went to Saliba's yard and infected him, bro. Because even Saliba was playing in a way that I've not seen him do before, bro. I don't know what it is. But whenever Arsenal go to Old Trafford, it's like no matter the form, no matter the time of the season, no matter who's better, Arsenal just have that same brain freeze that I attribute to Robert Sanchez. The only player who showed up for Arsenal in that first, let's say 10-15 minutes was Odegaard. And looking at Twitter, I find this really interesting. Again, you guys let me know what your thoughts are. I'm someone that has been saying last season Odegaard was not good enough, especially for his standards. Someone that is the captain of the team that has shown 2 years prior that he's been, you know, really, really good for this team. But to blame him for the performance of the first half today, I didn't really understand it. He was the only one getting the ball, slowing the game down when, again, Arsenal were moving frantic. They were just kicking it anywhere. Let's all be like, Old Trafford, game one, no matter the opponent, they're going to come out all guns blazing. And furthermore, United in general, even when they're terrible, they're doing up, you know, 15th and whatnot. Guys, the big teams, they show up no matter what. They will play a decent game against your Cities, your Arsenals. Liverpool's 50-50. Sometimes they put up a good fight. Other times, they get popped 5-6-7-0. Today was, you know, the former where they played really well for that first 10 minutes. United, defensively, phenomenal. I think, obviously, we're going to get into what happened from minute 1 onwards, but I'll tell you from now, De Ligt was my man of the match. I know David Raya got it because the team that wins has to get, you know, man of the match, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not interested in all that stuff. De Ligt was man of the match. We'll speak about why very shortly. But for all United's domination, it's like they got a taste of their own medicine because we know these guys can terrorize. They can play awful and somehow at Old Trafford scrape 3 points and they go off saying, yeah, hold that, charge it, haha, you're bad. We saw it, guys, they struggled against Southampton. I remember that game at Old Trafford last season where they got cooked and I think Ahmad came and bagged a hat-trick and they were gassing it up like it's the best performance ever. So the same must apply today. Bruno Fernandes, who, you know, again, is so much better than Odegaard because last year Odegaard was bad. Bruno Fernandes, completely wasteful, gives the ball away in his own box to concede a corner against Arsenal. You might think, oh, that's not that bad. A corner against Arsenal, you're basically giving away a penalty. Lo and behold, Declan Rice whips it to Flappy Bird Bayende, who palms it like that. Calafiori heads into an empty net. People were crying about Saliba and whatnot. I've definitely seen scenarios where Saliba, you know, has his arm around the keeper or does a bit of shoving. Guys, this was just Bayende being weak. I'm sorry to tell you. This is just weak, pathetic goalkeeping. If you guys genuinely think that should be disallowed, I think this might be the wrong channel for you because we saw United use this very same exploits in the second half, but David Raya punched it away. The same thing. But even still, this was an end-to-end game because on the one hand, you had Dorgu bombing forward. He was remarkable, by the way. I think a little bit lackluster right in the final third, bar the one time he hit the post. But in general, he was causing Ben White a lot of problems. So, you know, big respect to him. And it was basically just like end-to-end football because on the one hand, you're seeing Martinelli trying overhead kicks in the box. And then you just see Mateus Cunha pick up the ball and start driving. He's running forward. A couple ricochets, but he's just literally storming through the middle like he's Moses, you know, when he was parting the Red Sea back in 1446 BC. For those of us who remember. If you remember, obviously make sure you subscribe. Those were the days, man. The good old days. But again, the shots were kind of tame, kind of weak. And Burmo as well. I'm not sure how to interpret his performance. I don't know if you guys agree with me. It was like he was doing some things really well, or the difficult things, but then the simpler actions, he was making errors. I didn't really understand why he was doing that. There was a moment where he got absolutely blitzed for pace by Gabriel, who, he's no slouch, but again, you expect Mbeumo, watching those Brentford counters last year, that he would be steaming through and scoring. But many times, Ben White would come through and cover, or Calafiori comes and covers. So, you know, fair play to them. Someone that I've not mentioned yet is Zubimendi. Now, Arsenal fans this weekend and on Friday and Thursday were getting a bit concerned because in all the training photos, in the new kit photos, he wasn't present. They were saying, like, I don't know what's happening. Is he hiding? Is he not happy here? Is he somehow going to Madrid? Well, it turns out he was still hiding during this game because he did something that, I'm an honest man, I'm familiar with. There's some games you play that when you feel like there's a level above you or it's too much for you, you start hiding. You don't want the ball as much. You start pretending to call for it, but realistically you don't want it. This is going to be a crazy name drop here, but I'll remind you guys of a charity match I played where the second half I started playing right back and Jens Lehmann was my goalkeeper, and I'm there telling Jens, bro, boot it long, bro. Like, it's rainy, their winger's rapid, I'm not a right back, innit? I'm not really comfy there, but I'm doing so to give everyone, you know, time to play up front on the wing. We're getting attack, wave after wave of attack. And normally, again, the keeper, especially in a charity game, you slow it down and, you know, you go and pick up the ball, you assess the options, everyone has a breather. Bro, this Jens Lehmann guy, he runs, bear in mind he's in his 40s now, maybe even 50s. He runs to get the ball, fires it into my feet. I'm like, bro, just the first half you were knocking it long when I was a winger for me to run. Now I'm playing right back. You're booting at me again. So this is all to say that Zubimendi, I know what you were doing and I wasn't very keen on it. He was standing behind Bruno, knowing full that they would never get the pass there, or behind Casemiro. I wasn't really feeling it. Second half, definitely much improved. Declan Rice obviously got an assist, I suppose, if you can call it that. Wasn't really his best game either. It was a game where, as I said, not many people were of any quality whatsoever. If I have to give standouts for good players, like I said, Dorgu I think did really well. Luke Shaw actually is someone that normally Bukayo Saka has him on toes for the last, I don't even know, 5 years that they've playing against each other, you know, regularly. Oh, he's bagging an assist. Today, complete opposite. I did not see Bukayo Saka bar a couple attempts where he actually popped up on the left towards the end of the game and whipped it to Madueke, who we'll speak about as we get to the end of the second half. So well done to Shaw for locking up Bukayo Saka. De Ligt, as I said, man of the match. Not only was he blocking any attempt at passing to go through, not only was he winning, you know, aerial duels, he obviously did really well against Gyökeres. But there was one moment where he tried to do the strength into Gyökeres, and Gyökeres said, please, bro, like, allow it, you know what I mean? Like, you man go do that in Eredivisie, but I don't care if I came from Portugal. I will barge you onto the floor. He went flying, but again, they did very well to recover. Euro, we didn't really see much because, again, Martinelli didn't really have any impact, you know, on the game whatsoever. Someone that was surprisingly alright was Mason Mount. I've said in the past that I don't rate him. I think if a player's best quality is listening to instructions and trying really hard, you can't be a number 10. For me, for my kind of 10. But in his defense, he played some nice passes in difficult angles, to be fair to him, to get Mbeumo, to get Cunha running into dangerous spaces. But I'm not sure what was happening. I think it was pretty obvious, and Arteta could see it, that's why he brought them off, that Calafiori and Ben White, for as much as they offer going forward, do leave you a little bit exposed when they are bombing forward, because we know Ben White likes a Saka overlap, we know Calafiori likes an inverted run, but the beauty of Arsenal's depth right now is that you take off Calafiori, you take off White, and you bring on Lewis Kelly and Timber, who were arguably top 3 left back, top 3 right back in the league last season. Suddenly Arsenal looked much more solid, and it wasn't just balls flying into those channels non-stop that Arsenal normally do really well with. So fair play to Arteta for noticing that. And then we get onto the 2 strikers, or maybe 3 if you add Havertz as well. But Gyökeres played the first 60 minutes, and I know what Twitter is like. People will post, you know, the craziest fail comps and whatnot. I don't think he was good. He didn't really offer much, but at the same time, the service was next to nothing, right? Arsenal as a whole, the attack was stale. Arsenal played pretty poorly for the majority of the game. So the only couple chances he got, there was one bad one in the first half, actually, where he tried to, like, cut in or something, and then he just literally, like, forgot the ball or something. I said, broski, the ball's there, bro. Don't forget the ball. So that wasn't great, but it's difficult when literally nothing is coming towards you. He didn't get any shots whatsoever. So, yeah, he got taken off in the second half. Havertz came on. Havertz did not get any shots either, unless I'm mistaken, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. He looked a lot quicker than Gyökeres did, though, I must say. Again, like he did during pre-season. He was making runs. He was pressing and whatnot. And then Sesko came on for United. Obviously, a goal down. They are fighting for their lives to try and get something. They bring on Benjamin Sesko. And suddenly, all the crosses that they were doing in the first half, they stopped. And they started trying to do little tiki-taka. And I'm thinking, bro, you got a 6'5" guy who his whole compilations on Twitter is him slam dunking in basketball, and you don't put in one cross. To be fair, they did put in a cross, but it went to Mbeumo, who headed it straight at the keeper. So yeah, Sesko didn't really get any headed chances. He also looked a little bit clunky in the box, if we're being fair. I can't lie to you. In the second half, Gabriel and Saliba, finally woke up and realized, oh, hold on a minute, like, this is not pre-season Emirates Cup versus Bilbao and Villarreal and them, man. We're in the Premier League. Can we wake up? And suddenly they were putting their life on the line, making, fantastic block after fantastic block, because Ahmad came on. He looked dangerous as well. I'm a bit confused why Amorim. United fans, again, let me know. I'm not trying to just be trolling or whatever. I just want to know your thoughts. Do you think, despite how well you played, are you not a bit frustrated that you didn't start with like a more attacking lineup? Because Dalot, I don't know what he offers, bro. The guy's not good. Why did Ahmad not start? Me personally, I know it's like throwing the lion to the wolves. No, that's not the right phrase. The lion would pack in the wolves. It's like throwing the human being to... What's that saying, man? Someone tell me what the saying is. You're throwing my man to the wolves anyway. Do it. Why not? Sesko, to me, seems like someone who has the mentality that he wants to be chucked in the line of fire or whatever to try and do something. Because what's the worst that can happen? He doesn't score. You say, okay, fair enough. He didn't score against the best defense in the league last season. Oh well, he's got some minutes. We go again tomorrow. The best that could happen, he scores from all those crosses you were putting in the first half, and suddenly it's like, whoa, the Messiah's back. This is incredible. But again, it is what it is. The game ended 1-0 to Arsenal. Are there any other players that I've not mentioned? Let me have a look real quick at the bench. Ha! How could I forget? Sorry, guys. Ugarte. You know why I forgot? Because it's not even a surprise to me now. What I was seeing didn't shock me in the slightest. This guy came on and somehow managed to make the game even worse than a Casemiro who was obviously leggy after an hour of playing. Guys, why did he think he was Valverde? He picked up the ball from genuinely 35, 40 yards and he said, you know what I'm going to do from here? I'm going to shoot. I said, yeah. If I'm a United fan, I'm thinking, bro, I don't want to see this guy play for my club again. A penny for Kobe Mainoo's thoughts. What is he thinking? Sitting on the bench, watching Ugarte hitting it from there. You guys owe me an apology because the amount that you guys shouted at me and you were posting my clip saying, this you. Remember when you said this? When Ugarte had like one alright game? Disgusting. Aside from that, Mikel Merino came on. It didn't really offer anything. Madueke, we barely saw him. Ahmad had him on toast defensively, so we didn't get to see him do anything going forward. But yeah, guys, Arsenal have won 1-0. Some could say, is it a cause for concern? Others, the more optimistic, will say, well, it's Old Trafford. You know how techy it gets in that stadium. Go and be a thief, smash and grab, get the 3 points and run away with a whole season ahead of you where you don't have to go back to Old Trafford. And in that regards, obviously you're going to say Arsenal are going to be the more happier, right? There are definitely positives for United, but at the end of the day, you lost. So you can post all the screenshots you want. You can do all the like, oh, congrats on 3 points and do Warrior Trophy this and do that. But at the end of the day, you lost the game. That's the most important thing. As far as I'm concerned, the first 3-4 games of the season, it doesn't matter how, get the points on the board because that sets the tone for the season massively. You don't want to start falling behind because I know it's not technically going to happen, but let's say you lose first 4 games, 12 points after 4 games. It's unrecoverable. So in that regard, especially given Arsenal's current fixtures that, they facing what? They go into Anfield, they go into St James Park, they face Liverpool, obviously Leeds came up as the championship winners. You got to get points on the board from early. So I guess, let's see. Is this going to be a blip? Is this going to be a sign of things to come? Let me know what you guys thought of the game. Are you concerned in general or do you think it's Old Trafford tax? This is how it always is. Just get out. Very, very quickly, for about 60 seconds, I want to say I did also catch up on some League Earn whilst I was editing the TikTok video earlier. PSG, of course, defeated Nantes. Again, Barcola, the BCMs, I don't like it. Because he scored 2-3 goals, and then people put it on Twitter, what a young talent, what a beast. But those of us who watched the game, not using Excel spreadsheets, poor. But something that I did enjoy was the Lille Brest. 3-3. What a game. Lille Brest put on a show, so fair play to them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if your team got 3 points this week and from what country your team is from. Like the video if your team got 3 points. Also, United fans, like as well though, because I know you, man, you got bare fans in it. So whoever you are, win, lose or draw, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you, man, tomorrow. And don't forget, on Mondays I stream highlights on Twitch. So all the top 5 leagues, we're going to watch all the highlights from all the games. We're going to discuss, debate. So follow me on Twitch to be part of it. It'll be around, I don't know, 3-4 p.m. in a bit.